When it comes to aging and dementia, misinformation is everywhere. From outdated stereotypes to fear-driven myths, there's a lot of confusion about what causes cognitive decline and what actually works to protect your brain. The truth is, many of the beliefs we've been told about aging and dementia simply aren't true. And while these misconceptions can feel overwhelming, understanding the facts gives you the power to take control of your brain health. Today, we're going to debunk 4 common myths about aging and dementia and replace them with evidence-based strategies that really work to safeguard your mind. These insights will help you separate fact from fiction and empower you to make informed choices about your lifestyle, habits, and overall well-being. So let's dive right in and tackle the first myth. Memory loss is an unavoidable part of aging. Let's get one thing straight. Memory loss is not inevitable as you grow older. While some mild changes in memory, like occasionally forgetting where you left your keys, are normal, significant or progressive memory decline is not a guaranteed outcome of aging. In fact, studies show that most older adults maintain their cognitive abilities well into their later years. The key lies in adopting habits and practices that support brain health and resilience. One reason this myth persists is because people often confuse normal age-related memory changes with more serious conditions like Alzheimer's disease or other forms of dementia. Normal aging might mean taking a little longer to recall information or needing reminders for appointments, but it doesn't involve losing entire chunks of memories or struggling to perform daily tasks. If those symptoms arise, they could indicate an underlying medical issue that requires attention, not an unavoidable consequence of getting older. So, what really works to prevent memory loss? The answer lies in staying mentally, physically, and socially active. For example, engaging in regular physical exercise has been shown to reduce the risk of cognitive decline by improving blood flow to the brain and reducing inflammation. Aerobic activities like walking, swimming, or cycling are particularly effective, but even low-impact exercises like yoga or tai chi can make a big difference. Social interaction is another critical factor. Humans are wired for connection, and maintaining strong social ties helps keep your brain sharp. Conversations challenge your memory, attention, and problem-solving skills, all of which stimulate neural pathways and build cognitive reserve. Whether it's joining a club, volunteering, or simply spending time with loved ones, staying socially engaged is one of the best ways to protect your brain. Let me share a story that highlights the importance of staying active to combat memory loss. A woman named Margaret, who was 78, began noticing occasional lapses in her memory. Concerned, she consulted her doctor, who reassured her that her symptoms were within the range of normal aging, but encouraged her to adopt brain-healthy habits. Margaret decided to join a local walking group and started attending weekly art classes at her community center. Over time, she noticed improvements not just in her memory, but also in her mood and energy levels. By staying physically and socially active, Margaret proved to herself that memory loss wasn't inevitable, and neither was losing her independence. Now that we've debunked the myth that memory loss is unavoidable, let's move on to the second misconception. Dementia only affects older people. This belief couldn't be further from the truth, and understanding the reality behind it is crucial for protecting your brain at every stage of life. Stay tuned, because this step will reveal why dementia isn't limited to seniors and what you can do to lower your risk starting today. While dementia is more commonly diagnosed in older adults, it's a mistake to assume it only affects people over 65. Early onset dementia, a term used to describe cases diagnosed before age 65, is more prevalent than many realize. According to research, Approximately 5–10% of all dementia cases occur in younger individuals, often due to genetic factors, traumatic brain injuries, or untreated health conditions like hypertension or diabetes. This means that protecting your brain isn't something you should wait until retirement to prioritize. It's a lifelong commitment. Another reason this myth persists is that early signs of dementia can be subtle and easily dismissed, especially in younger adults. Symptoms like difficulty concentrating, trouble finding the right words, or misplacing items may seem like stress or fatigue rather than warning signs of cognitive decline. Without proper awareness, these red flags can go unnoticed until the condition progresses significantly. The good news is that many of the same strategies that protect against age-related cognitive decline also reduce the risk of early-onset dementia. Prioritizing cardiovascular health, for instance, plays a major role in safeguarding your brain. Conditions like high blood pressure, high cholesterol, and obesity increase the likelihood of developing vascular dementia, a type of dementia caused by reduced blood flow to the brain. By managing these risk factors through diet, exercise, and regular medical checkups, you can significantly lower your chances of experiencing cognitive issues later in life. Nutrition is another powerful tool for protecting your brain. Foods rich in antioxidants, omega-3 fatty acids, and vitamins such as leafy greens, berries, nuts, and fish support brain function and reduce inflammation. Diets like the Mediterranean or MIND diet, Mediterranean-intervention for neurodegenerative delay, have been specifically linked to a lower risk of dementia. These eating patterns emphasize whole, nutrient-dense foods while minimizing processed products, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats. To illustrate the importance of early prevention, consider the story of James, who was 52 when he began experiencing unusual memory problems. At first, he chalked it up to stress from his demanding job, but when the symptoms worsened, he sought medical advice. Tests revealed that James had early-onset Alzheimer's disease, likely exacerbated by years of untreated high blood pressure and poor dietary habits. Determined to slow its progression, James worked closely with his healthcare team to overhaul his lifestyle. He adopted a heart-healthy diet, began exercising regularly, and prioritized sleep and stress management. While the diagnosis was daunting, James found hope in knowing that proactive steps could still make a difference not just for him, but for his children, who were now motivated to take charge of their own brain health. Now that we've addressed the myth that dementia only affects older adults, let's transition to the third misconception: there's nothing you can do to prevent dementia. This defeatist mindset overlooks decades of scientific research showing that lifestyle choices play a monumental role in determining your risk of cognitive decline. Stay tuned, because this step will reveal actionable steps you can take to protect your brain and defy the odds. It's easy to feel powerless when faced with statistics about dementia, but the reality is far more hopeful. While genetics and other uncontrollable factors contribute to your risk, studies show that up to 40% of dementia cases worldwide could be prevented or delayed through modifiable lifestyle changes. That's nearly half of all cases, a staggering reminder that your choices matter more than you might think. So, what exactly can you do to lower your risk? One of the most impactful strategies is staying mentally stimulated throughout your life. Engaging in activities that challenge your brain, whether it's learning a new language, playing a musical instrument, or solving puzzles, builds cognitive reserve, making your brain more resilient to damage. Think of cognitive reserve as a backup system. The more robust it is, the better equipped your brain is to compensate for age-related changes or injuries. Physical activity is equally important. Beyond its cardiovascular benefits, Exercise triggers the release of chemicals called neurotrophic factors, which promote the growth of new neurons and strengthen existing connections. Activities that combine movement with coordination, such as dancing or Tai Chi, offer additional cognitive perks by challenging both your body and mind simultaneously. Sleep is another cornerstone of brain health. During deep sleep, your brain clears out toxins and consolidates memories, processes essential for maintaining cognitive function. Chronic sleep deprivation, on the other hand, increases the risk of dementia by impairing these restorative mechanisms. Establishing healthy sleep habits like sticking to a consistent bedtime routine, avoiding screens before bed, and creating a calming sleep environment can pay dividends for your brain over time. Let me share an inspiring example of how proactive measures can transform outcomes. A man named Harold, who was 69, had watched his father battle dementia and feared he was destined for the same fate. Rather than resigning himself to fate, Harold took action. He started walking briskly for 30 minutes each day, swapped processed snacks for fresh fruits and vegetables, and joined a trivia team to keep his mind sharp. He also prioritized quality sleep by setting boundaries around evening screen use and practicing relaxation techniques before bed. Years later, Harold remains free of cognitive decline, proving that prevention is possible even in the face of genetic predispositions. Now that we've debunked the myths that memory loss is inevitable, dementia only affects older adults, and there's nothing you can do to prevent cognitive decline, let's move on to the fourth misconception. Dementia is the same as Alzheimer's disease. This misunderstanding is incredibly common, but it's important to recognize that dementia is not a single condition. Instead, it's an umbrella term for a range of cognitive disorders, each with its own causes, symptoms, and treatments. Understanding this distinction empowers you to approach brain health with greater clarity and precision. Dementia refers to a broad category of conditions characterized by impaired memory, language, problem-solving, and other cognitive functions severe enough to interfere with daily life. Alzheimer's disease is the most common form of dementia, accounting for approximately 60–80% of cases. However, there are many other types of dementia, including vascular dementia, Lewy body dementia, frontotemporal dementia, and Parkinson's disease-related dementia. Each type has unique features and underlying mechanisms, which means that treatment approaches and preventive measures may vary depending on the specific diagnosis. For example, vascular dementia is caused by reduced blood flow to the brain, often due to strokes or chronic conditions like hypertension and diabetes. Managing cardiovascular risk factors through diet, exercise, and medication can significantly reduce the likelihood of developing this type of dementia. On the other hand, Lewy body dementia involves abnormal protein deposits in the brain and shares symptoms with both Alzheimer's and Parkinson's diseases, such as hallucinations, movement difficulties, and fluctuating alertness. Early detection and tailored interventions are critical for improving quality of life in these cases. The myth that all dementia is Alzheimer's can lead to missed opportunities for prevention and intervention. By recognizing the diversity of dementia types, you can work with your healthcare provider to identify potential risk factors and implement strategies specific to your needs. For instance, if you have a family history of stroke or heart disease, focusing on vascular health might be particularly important. If you notice changes in motor skills or mood regulation, discussing these symptoms with a neurologist could help rule out conditions like Lewy body dementia or Parkinson's-related dementia. Let me share a story that highlights the importance of understanding different types of dementia. A man named Robert, who was 72, began experiencing memory problems and difficulty planning tasks symptoms commonly associated with Alzheimer's disease. His doctor initially suspected Alzheimer's, but recommended further testing to explore other possibilities. After undergoing imaging scans and neurological evaluations, Robert was diagnosed with vascular dementia linked to untreated high blood pressure. Armed with this knowledge, he worked closely with his care team to manage his blood pressure through medication, dietary changes, and regular exercise. While the diagnosis was challenging, understanding the root cause allowed Robert to take targeted steps to slow the progression of his condition and maintain his independence longer. Now that we've clarified the differences between dementia and Alzheimer's disease, let's address another pervasive myth. Medication is the only effective treatment for dementia. While pharmaceuticals play an important role in managing certain symptoms, they're far from the sole solution. In fact, non-pharmacological interventions such as lifestyle modifications, cognitive therapies, and social engagement are equally, if not more, impactful in improving quality of life and slowing cognitive decline. It's true that medications like cholinesterase inhibitors, for example donepezil and memantine, can help alleviate symptoms of Alzheimer's disease by regulating neurotransmitters in the brain. Similarly, drugs targeting vascular risk factors, such as statins for cholesterol or antihypertensives for blood pressure, can mitigate the progression of vascular dementia. However, relying solely on medication overlooks the profound influence of holistic, multidimensional approaches to brain health. One of the most effective non-pharmacological strategies is cognitive stimulation therapy, CST. CST involves structured activities designed to engage participants in discussions, problem-solving exercises, and creative tasks that challenge their minds. Research shows that CST can improve memory, communication skills, and overall well-being in individuals with mild to moderate dementia. Group-based CST sessions also foster social interaction, reducing feelings of isolation and depression, a common comorbidity among people living with dementia. Physical activity remains another cornerstone of non-medical treatment. Exercise not only supports cardiovascular health, but also enhances neuroplasticity, the brain's ability to adapt and rewire itself. Activities like dancing, swimming, or even gardening combine physical movement with sensory stimulation, providing dual benefits for the body and mind. For example, a study published in The Lancet found that seniors who engaged in regular aerobic exercise experienced slower rates of cognitive decline compared to those who were sedentary. Nutritional interventions also deserve attention. Beyond general recommendations for a balanced diet, specific nutrients have been shown to support brain health. Omega-3 fatty acids found in fatty fish like salmon and sardines promote anti-inflammatory processes and protect neurons from damage. Antioxidant-rich foods, such as blueberries, spinach, and walnuts, combat oxidative stress, a key contributor to neurodegeneration. Even hydration plays a role. Dehydration can exacerbate confusion and fatigue, making it harder to focus and retain information. Social engagement rounds out the list of non-pharmacological treatments. Loneliness and social withdrawal are significant risk factors for cognitive decline, as they deprive the brain of meaningful stimulation and emotional support. Participating in group activities, whether it's volunteering, attending community events, or simply spending time with loved ones, can boost self-esteem, stimulate memory recall, and foster a sense of belonging. Technology can bridge gaps when in-person interactions aren't possible, offering platforms for virtual meetups, online classes, and digital support groups. To illustrate the power of non-pharmacological interventions, consider the story of Evelyn, who was diagnosed with early-stage Alzheimer's disease at age 68. Initially overwhelmed by her prognosis, Evelyn decided to adopt a comprehensive approach to managing her condition. She enrolled in a local art therapy program where she discovered a passion for painting that reignited her creativity and provided a new way to express herself. To complement her artistic pursuits, Evelyn joined a walking group and started practicing yoga twice a week, which helped improve her balance and reduce anxiety. She also made dietary changes, incorporating more whole grains, vegetables, and lean proteins into her meals while cutting back on processed foods. Over time, Evelyn noticed improvements in her mood, energy levels, and ability to perform daily tasks. While her journey wasn't without challenges, Evelyn proved that medication alone doesn't define outcomes. Lifestyle choices matter just as much, if not more. Now that we've debunked 4 common myths about aging and dementia, memory loss being inevitable, dementia only affecting older adults, there being nothing you can do to prevent it, and dementia being the same as Alzheimer's disease, it's time to bring everything together. These insights aren't just about correcting misconceptions, they're about empowering you with actionable strategies to protect your brain and live a fuller, healthier life. By understanding what really works to safeguard cognitive function, you can take charge of your future and defy outdated stereotypes about aging. Let's recap what we've learned so far and highlight how these truths work in harmony to support lifelong brain health. First, we established that memory loss is not an unavoidable part of aging. While some mild changes are normal, significant decline isn't guaranteed if you stay proactive. Engaging in regular physical activity, maintaining social connections, and challenging your mind through learning and puzzles all contribute to preserving memory and cognitive function. Next, we debunked the myth that dementia only affects older adults. Early-onset dementia exists and underscores the importance of adopting brain-healthy habits at every stage of life. Managing cardiovascular risk factors, eating nutrient-rich foods, and staying mentally active aren't just strategies for seniors, they're investments in long-term brain resilience. The third myth, that there's nothing you can do to prevent dementia, was replaced with evidence showing that up to 40% of cases could be prevented or delayed through lifestyle choices. From prioritizing sleep and exercise to fostering strong social ties and engaging in mentally stimulating activities, prevention starts with small, consistent actions that add up over time. Finally, we clarified that dementia is not the same as Alzheimer's disease, emphasizing the diversity of cognitive disorders and the need for tailored approaches to treatment and prevention. Non-pharmacological interventions like cognitive stimulation therapy, physical activity, nutrition, and social engagement play critical roles alongside medications in managing symptoms and improving quality of life. These strategies aren't isolated solutions, they're interconnected pieces of a holistic framework designed to nurture your brain throughout your lifetime. For example, staying physically active boosts blood flow to the brain, which supports memory retention and reduces inflammation. Social interaction enhances emotional well-being while simultaneously challenging cognitive skills like attention and problem-solving. A healthy diet provides essential nutrients that protect neurons and promote neuroplasticity. And mindfulness practices reduce stress, creating an optimal environment for learning and growth. When combined, these habits amplify each other's benefits, forming a robust foundation for lifelong cognitive vitality. To illustrate this synergy, consider the story of Margaret, whom we mentioned earlier. After noticing occasional memory lapses, she took a multifaceted approach to protecting her brain. She joined a walking group to improve her cardiovascular health, enrolled in an art class to stimulate her creativity, and started practicing mindfulness meditation to manage stress. At home, she swapped processed snacks for fresh fruits and vegetables and made sure to prioritize restful sleep by establishing a calming bedtime routine. Over time, Margaret noticed improvements not just in her memory, but in her overall energy levels, mood, and sense of purpose. Her journey demonstrates how addressing multiple aspects of brain health creates a powerful ripple effect, enhancing both mental clarity and emotional resilience. So, what does all of this mean for you? How can you translate these insights into practical steps that fit seamlessly into your daily life? Here are 5 key takeaways to guide you. 1. Move your body regularly. Physical activity doesn't have to be intense or time-consuming to make a difference. Aim for at least 150 minutes of moderate aerobic activity per week, such as brisk walking, swimming, or cycling. Incorporate strength training exercises twice a week to build muscle mass and support mobility. Low-impact options like yoga or Tai Chi are excellent alternatives if high-intensity workouts aren't suitable for you. 2. Stay mentally stimulated. Challenge your brain daily with activities that require focus and problem-solving. Learn something new, whether it's a language, musical instrument, or skill like knitting or woodworking. Solve puzzles, play strategy games, or engage in creative pursuits like painting or writing. The goal is to keep your mind curious and agile. 3. Prioritize social connections. Loneliness is a major risk factor for cognitive decline, so make an effort to stay connected with others. Join clubs, volunteer, or participate in community events. If mobility is an issue, leverage technology to stay in touch with loved ones through video calls or online forums. Meaningful interactions stimulate your brain and nourish your spirit. 4. Adopt a brain-healthy diet. Focus on whole, nutrient-dense foods that support brain function. Emphasize leafy greens, berries, nuts, seeds, fatty fish, and whole grains while minimizing processed products, refined sugars, and unhealthy fats. Consider following diets like the Mediterranean or Mind diet, which have been specifically linked to lower risks of dementia. 5. Manage stress and prioritize sleep. Chronic stress and poor sleep wreak havoc on your brain, so develop habits that promote relaxation and restorative rest. Practice mindfulness techniques like deep breathing, meditation, or progressive muscle relaxation. Create a calming bedtime routine by avoiding screens before bed, keeping your bedroom cool and dark, and establishing consistent sleep and wake times. It's also important to recognize that protecting your brain isn't a solo endeavor, it's a team effort. Work closely with your healthcare provider to monitor your cognitive health and address any concerns early. Routine checkups can help identify underlying conditions like hypertension, diabetes, or sleep apnea that may increase your risk of dementia. Additionally, don't hesitate to seek support from family, friends, or professionals if you're feeling overwhelmed. Building a network of care ensures you have the resources and encouragement needed to stay on track. Let me leave you with one final thought. Aging is not a sentence, it's an opportunity. Every day presents a chance to nurture your body, challenge your mind, and connect with the world around you. By embracing the strategies we've discussed today, you're not just protecting your brain, you're investing in a richer, more fulfilling life. Memory loss and dementia may cast shadows, but they don't define your journey. With knowledge, intention, and determination, you can shine a light on what truly matters, living fully, loving deeply, and thriving regardless of age. Before we wrap up, I want to thank you for joining me in this exploration of aging and dementia. If you found these insights helpful, please give this video a thumbs up, subscribe for more content, and share it with someone who might benefit from hearing these ideas. Together, we can inspire ourselves and others to take control of our brain health and rewrite the narrative around aging. Until next time, take care of yourself, stay sharp, and remember, your brain is resilient, adaptable, and capable of incredible feats. Here's to protecting it one mindful step at a time.